Hello, you beautiful people. Let's see how to make sure everything is set up. Okay, I believe we are good. Now, oh, you know what I did forget? That would help. We need some light. Okay, that should be better. Now, I gotta figure out the placement of some things. So the landscape is all done. I think I did spend some time touching up some stuff, but I don't think it's going to be enough to like make it super noticeable. It was just like little things. I think I added in some shadowing. I might add in some more, but yeah, anyways. Trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to place everything just so like I can have a good map in my head. I definitely want Kenny right here. I think about that big. And I want Cinderace here, kicking a football. And I kind of want him looking towards Kenny. I want like all the Pokemon looking at Kenny, so that's where all the eyes are drawn. I kind of want Pikachu here. Yeah, I think right here. And then with Cinderace and then Jirachi, I kind of want coming down. I kind of just want angles pointing towards Kenny. So like Pikachu looking at Kenny, Cinderace kicking the ball to Kenny, Jirachi coming towards Kenny. That way, like, it just draws the eyes towards Kenny. That's my goal, anyways. I just got to figure out exactly, like... I'm going to start with Pikachu. It's just, do I want him standing? Do I want him sitting? I think I might want Pikachu sitting. Do I just go in with some white? Or do I just go in with some yellow? So there's lots of purple around here, so that's good for Pikachu. Because there's not a lot of yellow, but there's a lot of purple. And that should help Pikachu, like, pop. Do you see this? How crusty yellow is getting? I'm gonna need to... Oh, that's still wet. Clean that off my fingers so I don't put it anywhere on the painting. I need to clean some of these out. Like I did the red a while ago because I was like, oh, I need to use red and everything's dry, so let's clean it out. And then I didn't. Silly me, silly me. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to kind of start with my darker yellow because I can always brighten it up. I think I want to zoom in for this though. I might need to find a new streaming program because, like, my camera is capable of capturing a lot better quality. Or maybe it's just the way it looks on my phone because it seems like it's fine on the other. I don't know. I feel like I'm procrastinating now. I'm gonna get a little closer. Yeah, that should be good. Let's see. I want. Yeah, I'm gonna have Pikachu sitting. I just feel like that's the best way. Just kind of see where I'm seeing Pikachu. I might need to do white. I might need to do white. I'm gonna need to do white. Yellow is just too opaque. Okay, so let's start with this bean body. Let's see. I have Pikachu's neck right there. Pikachu is a very weird Pokemon. Because sometimes it has knees, sometimes it doesn't have knees. Sometimes it's rotund, and other times it's skinny. I kind of feel like he's gonna need knees with him sitting down. Kind of giving him a Winnie the Pooh body. I think this was the part I was the most nervous about with my live. I was putting the characters in. Because this is such a like it's a slow process, just like trying to figure out like the position and working it. It's kind of like sketching but with paint. Adjusting sizing as like I'm adding more parts in. I'm kind of like trying to make brush strokes appear in the paint so like it can give me a guideline. Like I know it's not really showing up in the camera, but like I can see the flow of the paint. So like I'm circling a foot right here where I want Pikachu's foot. And it's not really showing up on camera, but I can see like the direction I was pushing the paint. So like it's leaving an impression that I can use to kind of like follow it when I add in more color. I feel like Pikachu has got chubbier knees. I think that's what might be throwing it off. Yeah, that really helped. Pikachu does have really chubby knees. Not trying to body shame Pikachu or anything. His knees are perfect. Let's see. Which way do I want its tail going? Do I want his tail? See, I'm gonna have him kind of like turned looking. His tail's gonna be right here. Don't, don't, don't. No, I feel like it's causing his tail to point away. I want everything pointing towards. I can kind of see it right here. The bark. Let's see. Tail's gonna be back here, and it's gonna come out, and it's gonna go up. And then it's gonna come down. And it's gonna come up. How many times does it zigzag? How many times does Pikachu's tail zigzag? Looks like once, twice. Oops. One more, and this is the big part. Feel like is it? Yeah, Pikachu's tail is bigger. And for those joining, I apologize. I missed last week's live and postponed this week's by a day. With Baxter getting sick, kinda gave me a little scare. It's been a long time since Like I've had a pet get really sick on me. And Baxter definitely took it to a next level. So we do think we figured it out. Everything seems to be fine. All the testing is normal. His kidney levels could be a little bit better, but that's also like an age thing. But we think we figured it out. So with it being springtime, we literally have a Bradford pear tree right outside our backyard, and all the leaves and everything blow right into the backyard. And we think he's eating them, and it's making him sick. So we've had to stay on top of making sure like those stupid seeds aren't in the yard, because otherwise Baxter eats them because he doesn't know better. But then Eric got sick, and then I got sick, and it delayed me a whole bunch of stuff that I was working on. And so yesterday I was just trying to play catch up. And we're going to be moving soon. We got 15 days till we get the keys for the new place. So that's exciting. But it also means like I'm going to be moving, and I'm probably going to need to miss a couple lives. How do I want your arms? He likes to hold them on his belly. It's like a default position in the anime. I feel like that's a good position for this. Hmm. And I kind of want his head pointed down this way. Pikachu's head's like almost the same size as his body. It would be right here. Kind of have Pikachu facing away, but that's okay. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Dun, 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 dun. Bum, bum, bum. Okay, I want like Pikachu's eyes to be right about here. All right, so I can have something to talk about because I'm like getting lost in this without saying a word. Um, Eric and I went thrifting. Was it this last weekend? Yes, it was this last weekend on Saturday. We went thrifting, kind of looking for stuff for the new place. And one of the things I noticed there is like that old fashioned art is getting expensive. Like, just old painted artwork inside of thrift stores. People like donate, like, normally, like, it was like $5, maybe up to $15, depending on the size. So much of those just thrift store paintings were like 50, 60, $70. I was like, what in the world is happening? Like, some of them were not good. Like, I don't want to put down other artists or anything like that, but I'm just like looking at the painting and I'm just like, there's no way this painting should be $70. It is definitely like an amateur looking landscape. I was like looking through them to see if there's anything like maybe I could paint something into it. I just could not justify the price. I don't know if anybody else has noticed stuff like that, but that really caught me off guard when we went to the thrift store. There was a lot of stuff that was overpriced. We went to Savers, and one of the things that I noticed is there was a lot of product that was unopened, still had the original price tag on, and Savers had put a new price tag on that was like 3 times the price of what the original price tag was. I'm just like, what? I even took one of the things up to one of the cashiers, and I was just like, can you explain why this is so much more than what the original price was at Walmart? And she was just like, oh, I don't know. They just may not have seen it. And so she ended up marking it down for me. But I was still just kind of like, this is kind of ridiculous. Like, one of the things I got were like some wooden planks. Original price tag on it was 50 cents. And they had it marked up for $7. She brought it down to $1 for me. And I was just like, I'll still get it. I wasn't gonna get it for $7, but marked down to $1. I'm like, this is thrift store stuff. Why is it so expensive now? I feel like I could go to Old Navy and get new jeans for the price of some of these used pair of jeans. Thank you. I'm really happy with this landscape. Oh my goodness, how many hours did I put in it? I just added it all up. It was less than 140 hours. And I think I have maybe at most 10 more hours left to do in this. It's going to be a memorial Pokemon painting for a friend of mine. Her nephew passed away last year, and I'm adding in his favorite Pokemon in a heavenly landscape. Okay, which ear? Got him in such a difficult pose. So he's facing this way, but his head is turned this way. I'm gonna have him smiling. Pikachu's got some big old eyeballs. Okay, yeah, now that I place the eyes, I can see where the ears are. This ear is going to be the one that you can see most. This ear is going to be kind of covered by the head. It's okay to make them too small at first. You can always go bigger. Did I make his head too small? I think I may have made his head a little too small. And this ear is going to be right here. Pikachu has like this one ear cocked look. Maybe I'll have Pikachu eating a berry. Kind of got his hands in the right position to be holding a berry. It's definitely giving Pikachu now. There we go. I'm happy with that. Pikachu looks normal. Right? I know that's the female, but I was kind of getting an idea of the pose, how the legs and the length of the arms. I feel like I should make the ears just a tiny bit longer, but my Pikachu's got a little bit of character. He's a little bit different. Need it to dry just a tiny bit. I got this desaturated yellow, kind of like a dirty gold color. I'm going to kind of start figuring out some of these shadows. And that is looking a lot better. It's kind of vibrant now. Oh, thank you, lady. No worries. I appreciate you popping in. I finally started the Pokemon. Just trying to figure out like shadows right now. And because Pikachu's so yellow, I needed to go in with a base layer of white to make sure the yellow pops. need to do a little bit of a darker shade for the shadows. I don't need to go all the way to the tip. Pikachu's ears are, in fact, black tipped. Now it's really looking like Pikachu. Boy, Pikachu's coming together quick. How's it going, Illustrated? Thanks. I'm like, this Pikachu is coming out really quick. I'm kind of surprised. I was thinking like I might get Pikachu mostly done today, but it's looking more like I'm gonna get Pikachu done and potentially Jirachi if I keep this up. I'd be really happy if I could get two Pokemon done in this today. Because I know Cinderace, because he's so much bigger, he's gonna take a little bit longer. Yep, that's very true. Though I think it's funny that Pikachu would be considered easier than than some of the flowers. I'm still debating on if I want to give Pikachu a berry or something to hold. Just to kind of like break up some of the yellow in its body. But it's definitely getting some like dynamic looking shadowing. I almost feel like I might need to do a little like a light wash like on the tree, like around some of the bottom of the flowers just because Pikachu's starting to look so dynamic compared to the rest of it. Although the Pokemon I do kind of want to stand out a little bit. Yeah, and Pokemon has some really cool looking berries. Like for yellow, there's a berry called a Blookberry. Like they're puns on real world berries. So a Blookberry's purple, which would contrast the yellow very nicely. Um, Pikachu's normally seen like with Pecha berries, which are like peaches. They're heart shaped and pink, or an Oran berry, which is like a blue, like a giant blueberry. Like those in the anime are the two that I've seen Pikachu with. So like I could add it here, just to kind of give it some a little bit of contrast right there, especially because his hands are in like the perfect position. I was thinking like just having him sitting with his hands on his belly, because I see that a lot. But maybe holding a berry. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like just with the wash, like have a since the light would be coming this way, like I could just add a lot of water to like a really light gray and kind of like dull out some of these colors just where I want some shadowing, but leave like patches of it still open. I will figure out which berry. I'm with you now. I kind of like I'm seeing it in my head, and now I'm like, I need to make that a thing. Now that I'm seeing it, it needs to be real. Dishwasher's done. I don't know if you could hear the dinging. I've seen people do that too. One of the things I would probably do though, if I were to do a colored shadow, because there's already a lot of purple flowers, I would probably do like my Prussian blue, a really watered down Prussian. It's a very deep dark blue, like you know this color when it's not mixed with anything, almost black. Just because there's like no blue down here, so it won't disappear. Because like if I use purple, I feel like it might like take away from the purple in the lilies, but I could do like a blue and it would contrast the orange of the sky very nicely. I am one of those people though that's like I will use gray and black for shadows even though you're not supposed to. And I'm just like I think it looks good, so I want to do it. I might do in like talking it out with you. I might just do the Prussian blue. I think that would probably look better. Yeah, I think you're right. I will probably do a little bit of color. It's gonna be a really light wash. But I found out recently that like a lot of the old Renaissance painters, they painted with very, very thin wash-like layers. Like what was it? The Mona Lisa's got like I could be off on this and misremembering it. But I think like the Mona Lisa's got like 1,000 layers in it, and it's just like very delicate layers just built on top of each other, which is one of the reasons like they won't restore the painting because Leonardo da Vinci's paint was just such thin layers that they're afraid any kind of restoration and cleaning of it is going to remove paint layers from it because his paint is just so thin. I thought that was pretty cool because I had wondered about that because I know like I'll look at paintings and I could tell like, oh, they've been restored, they're so vibrant, and then like I look at a lot of Da Vinci stuff and I'm like, why haven't they restored Da Vinci's stuff? And I like fell down this rabbit hole, and it's because like he painted with such thin layers. They haven't found a way to remove the varnish and clean it without it removing paint layers. It took him years, like 20 something years to finish the Mona Lisa. And it is a tiny painting. Like, I always feel like I paint on tiny canvases compared to like other artists I see on these gigantic canvases. I even like somebody's interested in my artwork and they want like they're interested in a mural from me. And I'm just thinking about that, like a 16 by 8 foot mural. And I'm like, Jiminy Crickets, that is huge. I don't know if I could do that. I would definitely need to get some practice. So, like, there potentially a mural in my future. Even if I don't take this one, like, I'm going to start looking into it because my city does. Reno pays a lot of artists to paint stuff around the city. Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci took his time on it. And it's like 8 by 11 inch. It's not very big at all. I remember my mom talking about it. She had seen it and she's like this was years ago, and either her or somebody else that she was with was really disappointed at how tiny it was. They're like, all this and it's so small. So like whenever I think about that, I always remember like some of the greatest artists in the world did their paintings on tiny canvases. Yes, I agree. I do think I'm gonna have to turn down this like mural though, just because it's a soccer mural and I don't have anything against soccer. I just don't paint people that often. I don't want to mess up the anatomy, especially on something so big and people are going to be driving by this on a daily basis. Like I don't want to mess up the anatomy of a soccer player for everybody to sit there and judge. So like I kind of want to get some more practice with people. Also, I'm pretty sure I would need to learn how to use spray paint for something that big. I don't foresee any other way of going about it just because painting it with acrylics on a brush is just going to take so long. Oh, yeah. We had a mural a couple years ago that got painted over, and a lot of people in town were pissed off about it. I did think about that. I would still need to get practice with it because I couldn't use my normal acrylics. I would definitely have to like work with outdoor paints, figure out how to like mix them, how they're gonna take. So I either way, I'm gonna need to get practice. But since there is interest, I kind of feel like that I should look into it now a little bit more seriously. I am allowed to paint in my new place, and I do want to paint an arch. So there's from the living room into the dining room, there's an arch walkway, and then from the kitchen looking, so like here's the living room, you walk through the archway, here's the dining room, and then here's the kitchen. Over the kitchen sink, there's another like window archway, so you can look out the kitchen into the living room. And I kind of want to paint brickwork around it, but I might practice with some like interior exterior paint so I can like work with it. Just like simple enough. I want to paint some bricks, possibly some vines, just to kind of like make it look a little bit more alive. But it will help me start getting that practice in for murals. And then the city also has this, they do like an artist program for painting power boxes. And I love those. They're all over town, and I absolutely love them. And every year, like they'll pay I think it's like $5,000, a couple thousand to $5,000 to paint a power box. So I might look into that, and that might be good practice as well. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. There's gonna be definitely turning those into videos when and if that happens. It would be cool. There's so many walls in our town that are just painted on. Some of them are huge. Like there's one, it's like 5 stories tall, this mural, and it's on a parking garage. And that blows my mind. Like it's just so big. I wonder if I could garage mural. Oh, there it is. This is the one. Uh this one, it just, let's make sure it's in frame a little bit. There we go. Like this one blows me away at how tall it is and how clear and realistic it looks. This one just blows my mind. And there's all over town just walls like this. Like here's another parking garage mural. I want to make sure I'm in frame. I am not in frame. Like I just couldn't imagine doing this, and like I would have to rent equipment to do stuff like that, but it would be cool, especially since my town does it. Yeah, they're huge. And I would need like a cherry picker bucket to kind of like paint that kind of stuff. But it would be really cool. Oh yeah, the oh, what are they called? I know the platforms. I'd be so scared. I'm not even gonna lie. I would be so scared painting on one of those things. I'd still be scared like painting from a cherry picker. I'm definitely gonna look into it more. The City of Reno has so many art installations because we have Burning Man here. And so the city's like super involved with purchasing Burning Man artwork and displaying it across the city. Although I find some of it really funny that the city puts up because I'm like, the city council actually know what this artwork stands for? Because there's a couple where I'm just like, did you guys not look at the artwork before you put it up? Like, not that I minded or anything, but one downtown, it's a butterfly sculpture, and it's just like this big butterfly, and then surrounded by what could be taken as flower buds, and it's really fallopian tubes. Like, it is very evident it is an homage to a woman's body, and you know, them being able to create life. That's definitely what the homage is. Um, but there's worse ones in town. Like that's just more of the PG one. There are others in town where I'm just like, that's very phallic looking. Did you guys like really look at the statue before you put it up in the middle of the city? No. Okay. And others are in parks too, right next to playgrounds, and I'm just like, city council, are you paying attention? Like this is Burning Man stuff. There's gonna be like suggestive undertones underneath so much of this artwork. However, not all of it. Some of it's been really cool too. Like one of my favorites, which I don't know why so many in Reno hated it. They're always bashing it, and it was one of my favorites. There's this space whale in downtown. It's gone now. They took it down, but it was a stained glass space whale. So this is the space whale, and it changed colors throughout the night. And all of this is just stained glass work. The baby, oh, the baby's on the other side, but it was just like a mama and a baby with all of this stained glass work in it. Beautiful sculpture. It was huge. So many people hated it and were complaining about it, like city's wasting money on all this stuff. and just complaining. And I'm just like, it's really pretty though. There's the baby. And it was just a sculpture downtown and it lit up, but people are always complaining or cheering on like, yeah, break all the glass on it. And I'm just like, you guys, this is why we can't have nice things. Right, I agree. It's beautiful. And it's a local artist. I'm just kind of like, the city of Reno is, you know, supporting local artists, and people are like, we're wasting money on it and we could be spending that money on whatever else, and just going crazy over that stuff. And I'm like, you people are so miserable. Why can't you just like let other people enjoy things that you don't enjoy? Not everybody needs to enjoy the same thing. And it adds charm to the city. Little chubby Pikachu. No matter where you go, people are going to complain about anything and everything. Like we had, I don't know if I shared it in my live, but a couple years ago, I was, this would have been 2020. Yeah, this would have been during 2020. Um, so because of COVID going on, I don't know if I can say the C word, uh, because of world events that were going on, there was a lot of stuff in town that was closed, and a lot of it was resources for the homeless. So I got a whole bunch of like packaged pillows from Costco. They were having a sale, and I think the pillows were like $1.50 each. And so I bought a whole bunch of pillows, pillowcases, backpacks, because there was also like I found a bunch of backpacks that were $2 each. I think at like the Salvation Army, they had a whole bunch of backpacks. So I bought a bunch of backpacks. I filled them up with like a blanket. We got $5 blankets from like I think it was Walmart. So I put the blankets, the pillows, the backpacks, toiletries, some non-perishable foods, and I was going around the park handing them out, and some guy came out just like screaming at me, threatening he was going to call the police. Like he's completely up in arms because I was going around and handing backpacks filled with stuff just to make life a little bit easier for the unhoused population around the park because the resources were currently closed, and I'm getting screamed at and threatened. The police called on me for handing out backpacks with stuff. Some people are just so miserable. Like, and that's probably to stay with me for a really long time. Like it kind of like freaked me out a little bit, and now like whenever I do hand out that stuff, I'm always like scanning because I just don't want like that's the kind of confrontation I don't want, because you don't know what those people are like and how crazy they are. No, he knew exactly what I was doing. He was just going off, threatening he was going to call the police. I'm like, I'm just trying to help, give something to somebody who needs a little bit of extra help. Why is it that big of a deal? Especially because like a lot of these people who were finding themselves in these positions, they were working, and then the pandemic happened, and before the city put in like a there was before I think it was a month and a half, 2 months into it before the city put in a like a, a no eviction clause while everything was going on. So the first people who couldn't afford their rent were the people who were living paycheck to paycheck, and they all got evicted, and then the city put in like, we're not going to be doing any kind of evictions during this, which I thought was really stupid. Like that was really bad of the city, because the only people who were really affected by that were those that were already in really bad situations. And so I was just trying to go out there and do something to, make their life just a little bit nicer. I'll never understand like miserable people like that. I mean, it wasn't even like it was anything spectacular either. I mean, they were just cheap backpacks and like tuna salad with crackers, like the pre-made stuff that was canned, protein bars, granola bars, I had water bottles. I think I even had like a $5 gift card for Subway in them. This was back when I had money. Oh, I didn't even have a lot of money, but like I had enough that I could go out and do this kind of stuff. I still try to do that stuff as best I can. Oh, you know what? I forgot to record that. I actually just added a whole bunch of food and stuff to the neighborhood pantry. I want to fill it up again right before we move, since there isn't one in my new area, and I might need to make one. I've been homeless before, so like I really understand how crappy of a situation that is. I was 19 years old, sleeping under an overpass in Las Vegas in the middle of summer. It was not a fun summer. And then I met some generous people as well, and I ended up at least moving into someone's couch, or moving like onto someone's couch for a while. And that gave me like at least enough stability that I was able to get an okay job, start bringing in a regular paycheck, and then got my own place. But like, had I not had somebody just show any kind of care, I don't know how, like, I don't know how I would have pulled myself out of that situation, because like it's, you got to think about showering, keeping your clothes clean, making sure you have enough food. Water is a big one, at least in Las Vegas. That was a huge one, was trying to make sure I had a steady stream of water. And like all of that stuff is expensive, and like any kind of money I was getting was just going right into that stuff, just trying to sustain me while I was homeless. It wasn't anything like tangible towards getting off of the street. It is what it is. I just try to think about the positive that came from it, which is like I lived a mile in those shoes. I know how hard it is, so I can give that understanding that I wish others would have given me at that time. Every time I go back to Vegas, though, it's funny because I have to go right past the overpass, just because it was the 95, which is the highway that goes from Reno into Las Vegas, and you have to go through it to get towards the Strip. So it's kind of funny. Every time I go back to Vegas, literally have to drive right underneath that overpass. And it just seems like it's so long ago. You kind of get numb to it after a while. Um, like, uh, I'm sure being in Oklahoma, you have either pig or cow farms near you, and you can smell them. But after a while, you kind of go nose blind to it. The same thing kind of happened there, where like I would just get so tired that I was kind of like tucked up underneath. So the way the overpass worked is here's the bridge that went over, and then the highway's down here, and you had the slope. There was like a little like I don't know cubby that was underneath the bridge, but where the slope evened out, and I would just like go up in there, so you couldn't really see me from the highway, and so it just kind of became dull noise, like a hum, and I just kind of got used to it. So I imagine like it's a very similar thing that happens. So like when you live near really stinky farms, you just kind of grow nose blind to it. It's just the smell of your area. The hardest thing was just being able to get enough water. That was what was really hard for me, was just being able to stay hydrated. And it sucked because it was literally the middle of summer. I feel like his leg needs to be here. A lot of them know. I ended up finding what's funny is this place that I was sleeping at, like that overpass was literally right next to the apartments I had grown up in. So like we had grown up in these apartments, and then we had moved clear across town. And then when I was homeless, I ended up back in that same area. Um, but those apartments that I had lived in, I had remembered they had spigots across like different apartments that weren't locked, and so like I would go over there, and that's where I would get like some water to kind of like clean myself up, like behind a dumpster. Just like get some kind of water, like make the body odor smell go away, and fill up this old water bottle that I would keep with me, an Aquafina water bottle. And I would just kind of like make my way over there, try and stay hidden and fill that up whenever I could. I ended up making like acquaintances with a Wendy's employee. So the restaurants that were right near me were like McDonald's, In and Out. There was a Wendy's. There was a couple others. But the Wendy's, they would leave me like some burgers and stuff outside, like leftover burgers that either got returned for whatever reason, or just were made incorrectly. But that was also like not an everyday thing, because I do know one of the managers there, just she wouldn't let the employees do that if she was there. But then I ended up meeting somebody, and he let me stay on his couch. It wasn't exactly the best situation, but I did what I needed to do to kind of like get off of the street. And then I started going to the Gay and Lesbian Center in Las Vegas, and they had a youth group for men. I started attending that, met other people, then made friends. They found out my living situation, and they're just like, "Yeah, no, come on, like you're gonna stay with us till you can get back on your feet." So with that help, it got me off of the street. But like, there really were not resources for people back then either. I feel like Pikachu's stomach is just a little bit wonky. It's making his leg. It does look like he's twisted, turned, but. How's it going, buddy? It is. I'm getting Pikachu added. Took a few months. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I wasn't on the streets for more than a few months. But it was some of the hardest months of my life. Definitely changed me and changed my perspective on a lot of the world. And I know like that's a big reason why like my heart is the way that it is. I feel like that is a little bit better. That's funny. I still have not seen Twilight. Did you like it? I have not read the books. I have not seen the movies. I never had any interest in it. I feel like my millennial like I mean I did have friends who are super into it, but I was also like in that I was in that weird cutout or cutoff period where like the millennials younger than me were obsessed with it, but the millennials older than me not so much. And I was kind of in that where I was just kind of like, I'm not really big into vampires. And it was kind of split. If you were into, what was it, True Blood? Was that also a thing around that time? I feel like all of my friends who were really into True Blood really got into Twilight. Was it True Blood? I don't remember. It's another one I just haven't seen. Okay, so it is True Blood. What was I into then? Aside from Pokemon, because Pokemon, yes. I don't really remember. I might have to pick it up, but I'm so movie deprived. But anyways, I gotta go let Baxter out. Give me a second. Proper vampire movies. That's funny. You need to go potty? You know, it's nice enough. I'm just gonna leave you out there. And that way, if you need to go next, you can just go out there. Okay, sorry about that. I can't take any chances with Baxter being sick. I don't definitely don't want to repeat. So when he was at the door, I just needed to immediately get out there so he could go if he needed to. Yeah, vampire movies just were really just not my forte. I might need to watch it now just for funsies. I feel like it'll be a nostalgia trip at the very least. Even though like I never watched it just because it's gonna be like very mid 2000s coded. How's it going, Rory? Yeah, he's feeling better. Only thing that popped up on testing was like we got to be mindful of his liver values. But he's old, and his liver values were way worse when we first adopted him. So like we know that the numbers are getting better. Just something that we still need to be mindful of. What we actually think it was is we have a Bradford pear tree right outside of our backyard, and it is just dumping seeds everywhere right now. So they're all over in our backyard, and I think Baxter's been eating the seeds, and it made him really sick. So we've just been staying on top of it to make sure none of the seeds are in the backyard. I never watched either of those either, Blade or Underwood, but I'm movie deprived. I have not seen a lot of movies. There were so many movies I wanted to watch as a kid, but I was told like I wasn't allowed to just because of very very strict religious things. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of movies. No R movies until I turned 18. A lot of PG-13 movies I wasn't allowed to see. No, I like those all came out. Those came out before I turned 18. I just wasn't allowed to see them, and that list is so big for movies that I need to see that I just don't watch movies. Like this was so strict. I got grounded for 3 months for sneaking in to see Scary Movie. I was 14 years old, and my mom found the ticket stub in my pants. Very rookie move, I know. I left the freaking ticket stub in my pants. But she found it in there, and I got grounded for 3 months. I just. I didn't take very many chances of watching movies I wasn't allowed to after that. Yeah, since Eric and I think it might be that, and we've been staying on top of it, he hasn't gotten sick since, and so we're hoping that that's what it was. Like the emergency vet suspected it was something that he ate, so we couldn't find anything in the house because we're really careful about keeping things that they can't eat absolutely away from them. So we couldn't figure out in the house, and that's the only thing. And it's because we caught him eating them, and he was kind of like coughing and getting sick at like while eating them. And I found in one of his puke piles, I found one of the seeds too. So like that's where we were suspecting like, okay, this is what's making you sick, and absolutely not. You need to stop. That's a little. That's different. I hadn't really heard that one before. Okay, so the ears are gonna go this way. I'm definitely gonna need to put some highlights in this, otherwise it's just gonna disappear into those trees. A 4-page essay though, that's different. I mean, at least you got to play it. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Then it's definitely not worth it. I got grounded so much for like so many stupid things. Um, like a couple of my friends actually nicknamed me Harry Potter because I would just get grounded to my room. And a lot of my friends did not like my mom. ask my friends, "You want to come over? Is your mom home?" "Yeah." "No, I don't want to come over." Call my friends. Can you like? I can't go out, but I can have someone come over. Do you want to come over? Is your mom home? "Yeah." "No, I don't want to come over." Yeah, very similar with mine. I got told by so many of my friends, like, "God, David, your mom is such a bee." So many of my friends hated my mom. She, I will say, like, one thing I thought was funny, and I kind of picked up on it the older I got, was like she definitely put on an act. She always wanted to be perceived as nice, but some things you just can't hide. I'll probably be streaming for about another hour and 15 minutes. I'm gonna, since I'm working on the small details of Pikachu now, I'm trying to figure out the right way to create a highlight for this brown. Nope. Southern Baptist Christian. And I'm sure Illustrated knows all about that. She's like smack dab in the middle of the Bible Belt in the US. Male, male Pikachu. Just the standard Pikachu. This is the second Pikachu I've painted. I need to definitely paint more Pikachu. Might do one with like a female Pikachu and a female Eevee together. Yeah. Illustrated is aware, yeah. Oh, that would be cool. I didn't even think about that. All the Pika clones together. Okay, now here's the thing. Do you consider Meryl part of the Pika clones? Or just Pichu? Because I kind of consider it part of the Pika clones. But everybody else does not. Just Pichu. Which I don't feel like Pichu is a Pika clone because it evolves into Pikachu. And plus, like, I remember I was 12 when Gen 2 was coming out, and I remember the tizzy everybody had over Pika Blue, it's Pika Blue. And that even getting on like some of the tops trading cards about Pokemon, Pika Blue even appeared on there, and that's what it was calling Meryl. I could see that too. Plusle and Minun really are like the very start of the electric rodent trend. But I feel like Gen 2 was like also a special generation because they were trying to expand upon things, and a lot of things weren't established as like quintessential Pokemon things, like uh like the Pika clones, which is why I think Meryl stands out so much. But like Meryl follows Pikachu, like almost perfectly, considering like you had Pikachu and Raichu in Gen 1, then you had Meryl and Azumarill in Gen 2. But in Gen 2, you got Pichu, which was the baby form of Pikachu. And then in Gen 3, you got Azrael, which is the baby form of Meryl. And so, like, they follow each other along, like, kind of, like, super similarly. They got the same kind of body shapes. They're like this weird rabbit rodent hybrid for both of them. And so I just kind of like, I feel like Gen 2's Pika clone is Meryl. It's just not electric type because that hadn't been fully established yet as a thing within Pokemon. That's funny. There is a Professor Pikachu, and I could put her because all of the costume Pikachus are female. I could do one of the costume Pikachus. That would be fun. I think it was Misty that had the Meryl. Yeah. Was it Misty? I know there was one in the show, and it was one of the first Pokemon to kind of like be introduced from Gen 2. I had a sneak peek, but that was because I went to like a flea market swap meet in Las Vegas, and I made friends with one of the owners of a booth there. She had a guy who would come in from Japan with a whole bunch of Japanese stuff, and Pokemon was huge, so he was bringing in Pokemon stuff. And I got to see some of the Gen 2 Pokemon before other people, like Steelix, Murkrow. What was the other one? Skarmory. Those were my first Gen 2 Pokemon I saw. Well, most people, it's Meryl and Snubble. And that's because of the movie. Okay, it comes right here. Yeah, those were my first Gen 2, and it was because of a Kuro comic that she ended up getting. And of course, like, I wanted it, but I didn't have allowance at the time. And so my brother ended up buying it, but he let me look through it. And it came with a promotional Murkrow card. And then she also had a whole bunch of pictures that were taken from oh, what was that called? There was a it was kind of like E3 before E3 was a thing. Nintendo Space World. Pokemon was displayed there, and I got to see Pokemon from that weren't released anywhere else because she had all of these pictures, and she was selling the pictures for like $1 each, and people were buying them. She had a good connection in Japan. I will give her that. And this was before the internet days. Like, you could still use the internet to look up stuff, but it wasn't as easy because Google wasn't out yet. Google was not a thing. And so it just wasn't easy to like find these kinds of stuff. And I remember telling all my friends, Onyx evolves, Onyx evolves. No, he doesn't. He doesn't evolve. And just like trying to convince them that Onyx evolves. And they're all like, no, it doesn't evolve. And then when Gen 2 came out, and I was like, see, I told you Onyx evolves. I'm going to give Pikachu a berry. Let's see. I was thinking a Bluckberry would be good. But I could also do a Wiki Berry just because like the purple will contrast with Pikachu very well. But I could also do a Pecha or a Ran. Because I see, like, I feel like in the anime, out of all of the berries, Pecha Berry is the berry that Pikachu eats the most. Or an Aran berry. They're also like super iconic, so people would recognize them a little bit quicker. Oh, it's one of these. I don't remember which one it is that boosts up the defense before taking an attack they're weak to, if it's ground. I don't remember. Aran heals. Pecha's poison. Citrus berry heals. Let's see. Cherry berry is paralysis. Chesto's sleep. Rost is frozen. I think the Asper berry wakes up. Lepa is restores PP. Aran heals. Lum is all status conditions. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. Because there's not a lot of blue down here, but it would pull in some of the blue. Yeah, I want to give Pikachu a berry. And you can't go wrong going with, like, just the one of the iconic berries. The ones that everybody knows. Pikachu can't eat a life orb. And besides it, wouldn't it be better to give it a light, what is it, the light ball? Pikachu's special item that makes it as strong as Ash's. I have been called a walking Pokédex by so many of my friends. I used to run raid groups, raid trains across my city for Pokemon Go. I had people across town who helped me run a Discord group, and they would and this was before we had the maps and everything. They would comment, we got a raid at this location, and then I would map it out of how we're gonna run through the town to get the most amount of raids done and the most efficient to save on gas. And we would literally just create this raid train across our town. And people are always asking oh, this Pokemon, what's this Pokemon that's come out? Because like they went through like Gen 1 first, then Gen 2 kind of trickled in, then Gen 3 trickled in. So like I knew all of the Pokemon. I was answering all the questions, telling people like what they needed to save for. Like I was telling everybody, you got to make sure like when Snorunt came out shiny, I was like, you got to look for the female. The female gets an evolution next generation. This one's gonna have a mega evolution one day. What's a mega evolution? And going into mega evolutions. I miss those days. Those were some fun days. I got I made so many friends. We started hosting like Pokemon events at parks. And then COVID hit and I just haven't picked it back up. It'd be way too freaking expensive now. Gas is just too much. And then like raid passes also kind of ruined that as well. Like I'm not against them, but it definitely like changed the dynamic of raiding because now you got the remote raids. I absolutely agree with that. I beta tested it too. I was playing Pokemon Go April 2016 and like I have some screenshots somewhere from like the beta game, but like I was fighting to get on that. I was like constantly like applying and then trying to find somebody I could get in contact with to beta test it, and I finally got in it, and I got to beta test it for my area for April, and I was playing it April and May, and then I got into June. I think it was mid-June before then it went offline completely, and then it came back July, was it 5th or 6th for everybody across the world? It was kind of cool to like see all of the changes. The biggest one was like the font. The font change like was one of the most jarring things from the beta testing to the real one. Let's see. I need to get just a little like cap. Although I will say like there were a lot of car accidents because of Pokemon Go. One of the funniest ones I saw was there was a car accident where a car ran a stop sign and went into somebody's backyard and like crashed into their tree. Nobody got hurt, luckily, and the people like their house wasn't damaged. It just threw the fence into there. And I remember going by there because it was somebody in my Pokemon group, and I was just like, somebody got into a crash and he had posted it in there. And so like I was like, oh, I'm down the street, I could go make sure he's okay. But by the time I got there, the police were already there, and like he was upset because like I was playing Pokemon Go and I wasn't paying attention. I was like, you need to pay attention. And like the police were over there also playing Pokemon Go. Not like they should have been doing the police reports and everything, but they're standing there playing Pokemon Go because like there was a bunch of Pokestops right there. So like they were all spinning them, and I'm just like, this is a surreal situation. The police playing Pokemon Go at a car accident from a guy who was playing Pokemon Go. Yeah. It was definitely a different time for humanity. How's it going, Shannara? Welcome, welcome. Glad to see you in. I'm working on the Pokemon part of this painting now. That's funny, buddy. How's it going, Rebecca? Onyx is doing fine. He's the only one that didn't get sick. Baxter got sick, Eric got sick, and then I got sick. Onyx is the only one that didn't get sick. Knock on wood. I don't want him getting sick. Let's see. So there it is. That's how little Pikachu's looking. I got to get his face in because he looks like he could be a Ditto right now. Thank you so much. I want to get this done so I can get it sent off to my friend, since it's a memorial piece for her. Yes. It was only like a 24-hour bug. I mean, it kind of lasted 2 days for me. I started feeling it Sunday morning or Saturday evening into Saturday morning or Sunday morning. Like we'd gone thrifting and stuff Saturday, and then I came home and I was just kind of like, oh, I'm not feeling so good. And I was thinking like I need to finish editing my video, but maybe I could get up early enough to do it. But then when I woke up on Sunday, I was like, nope, I'm not going to be able to get this done. And just recouped. And then Monday, I was still feeling a little bit off, but by the afternoon, I was feeling a lot better. And it was kind of the same thing for Eric. It was just like this weird 24-hour thing. I'm glad to hear that, Rebecca. No worries. I'm glad he didn't get sick. And we actually think we figured it out too. I don't know if you know Bradford pears, but we have a Bradford pear tree outside of our backyard, and all the seeds fall into the yard. And we think Baxter's eating them, and it made him sick because he ate too many. So we've been making sure they're all picked up out of the backyard. He cannot keep eating those. Yeah, I'm talking about you. No, if you guys heard him huffing at me. I feel like I need to tone that red down. Yeah, it just had to work its way out of our family. I'm glad Onyx didn't get sick. It's going. We get the keys on the 15th. I haven't started pulling down my paintings yet. That's coming up. And then we have started going through and like figuring out what stuff are we going to get rid of, if we're going to get rid of stuff. So that we can donate it. We've also gotten a couple new things. Eric really wants to get a new couch. Our couch is pretty old, and he really wants to get a new couch, so he's like looking for couches. Right? It was an ordeal. I gotta say, Baxter, I've never had an animal get as sick as Baxter got, which is what scared me so much. I've never seen so much puke in my life. They have 5 beds across the house. We also have floor rugs across the house, and then blankets, just for the dogs, make sure they're comfortable. He puked on every single dog bed, all of the blankets that were on their beds, and on like 3 of the 5 rugs we have. One, two, three. Yeah, 3 of the 5 rugs that we have. Every single dog bed, all of the blankets. I was just like, I don't understand how you have so much. And it just like, yeah, it was a crazy. I was panicking a little bit and calling like, Eric, you need to get home now. I need you here. I need your help. I don't know what's going on with Baxter. And the emergency vet's like, oh, he probably just ate something he shouldn't have eaten. But we were like, oh, we need a second opinion. So we did get more blood work. Everything's normal. He's got elevated like liver values that we need to work on, but they're lower than they were when we adopted him. So we're on the right track. Just got to stay on top of it. But he's never allowed to do that again. I've never just never had an animal scare me like that. Well, been a long time since I've had an animal scare me like that. We're on a plan. We're gonna get them paid off. Like everything else right now, the most expensive one was the emergency vet. No, we don't like our current landlord. They've done some pretty shady things to our neighbors, and so we are listening to the red flags, and we are not renewing our lease as much as we wanted to stay here because we have a garage and a backyard. That was like a big reason why we picked this place, but we don't want to deal with this landlord. Our neighbor that across the way they cut his lease short on him, which is illegal, but like there's so much work that has to go into trying to fight that kind of thing, and not a single attorney in town will take in tenants. They only represent landlords. So he was just kind of in this position where he's just like, I don't want to deal with it. So he left, but now they're taking not only his deposit, but they're saying he owes, which was like a $2,300 deposit. They're saying he owes an additional $2,500 for like repairs and stuff on the house. When I watched them, all they did was deep clean out the appliances, like the oven, the refrigerator, pulled them out of the kitchen, brought them into his garage, deep cleaned them out. And then the actual property owner came and she Swiffered through the house. No heavy chemicals or anything heavy cleaning. She went through the house with the Swiffer sweeper. And they're trying to charge him $2,500. And like I watched, like he did leave some stuff there. He left toys and stuff from his kid because like they were kicking him out a month early, and he just wasn't going to fight it. So he did end up leaving some stuff. They cleared the stuff away. His house wasn't that dirty. It took him maybe 2-3 days to clean it out. And then she came over and Swiffered it. And they're trying to say it's another $2,500 on him. And so like Eric and I are just like, well, we got to be prepared. Like we may have to fight her. And we have gotten our deposit back from every place we've ever rented from, because we try to clean up and make sure the place is as good of condition, if not better, than when we first moved in. So like we're now preparing as well that we're probably going to have to fight her for our deposit, if not her trying to charge us for additional money. Although I do like the new place. It is a little bit bigger, but no garage and no backyard. We have a patio, so that's going to be a little adjusting for the dogs again. They've gotten so used to the backyard, but there's a lot more plant life. I'm closer to the river. Like I can walk to the river now with the dogs, which I'm going to love. Like I am super excited. I'm within walking distance of the Truckee River. That's so cool. We're up closer to the forest now. So like Reno's literally in the transition between the forest and the desert, and like we're now on that border. So we have trees on one side and then the desert life on the other. So we're literally going to be on the border. I'm just looking forward to it. And I am sorry, Rebecca. Yeah, that can be scary as well. Hopefully it wasn't too much, because I know if you have to pump their stomachs, like that is a very pricey bill. I'm really glad we didn't have to do that. CAT scan on Baxter showed he had nothing in his stomach, so we didn't need to pump. All right, buddy. You have a good night. I might be getting Jirachi started since I'm almost done with Pikachu. You'll have to see that next time. I'll either be finishing Jirachi or starting Cinderace. I feel like I might have just made Pikachu's eyes too big. Pikachu's got big eyeballs. I'm at 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm gonna do my normal 3 hour stream, so I got about another 45 minutes. Oof. Yeah, that's pricey. They did an ultrasound and saw that his stomach was empty, which was because of just how much puke he did. I feel like I need to bring his arm out a little bit more now. Like the legs are in a good position. I just feel like I need to round out his body a little more. Yeah, I should at least finish Pikachu with how I'm going. The other thing though about this new place is I'm actually going back with a landlord I've been with before. I know what to expect from her. We've gotten our deposit back from her. Like, it's just stuff that like we can't really like argue with. We have rapport with her. She's fair. She understands the laws. She doesn't want to like break the laws or not necessarily break them, but what is it called? Abuse loopholes or things like that. So that will be nice. Place is a little bit bigger. Our rent isn't going up. I guess we can't really complain too much about that. And she's letting us sign a 2-year lease. So we don't have to worry about like the cost of living going up too much for a little while. But it's pretty amazing how much those little shinies in the eyes change Pikachu's look. Like I can really tell that they're missing. You okay, Baxter? Okay. Just staring at me. It's a little berry, and I do still need to do the mouth. I'm just trying to like clean up his body because it was throwing me off a little bit. So in Pokemon, there are special berries that can heal or do special things for Pokemon, and he's just got one of them. I wanted to kind of make it look like he was just enjoying a little berry. No worries. I kind of got what you were saying. Yeah, the eye shinies are definitely gonna really make a difference. One big old head's getting in the way. Oh, they're too far up on his head. The nose should be like right here. This is why you should use references. Put his nose in the wrong spot. I haven't watched it in a while. I really want to watch the new anime that they got going on since Ash left. I just haven't kept up with it. I don't have Netflix. I'm just gonna have to redo his whole face. So I haven't been able to keep up with it. But my favorite, if you have not watched it, are the Sun and Moon era. That's my favorite of the anime. I know people do not like it because of the anime style. I just feel like it fits so well, though. The jokes in it are funny. Team Rocket is hilarious. I think they have some of their best lines ever in that arc, the Sun and Moon arc. So if you haven't watched it, like I highly like, if you like Pokemon, the Sun and Moon arc, it's just there's so many great one-liners, so many great jokes. It is legitimately funny. Like even my husband, who just isn't that big into Pokemon, like he'll still play the games with me, but like the anime he wasn't really into. Baxter, slow down. Hey, you're gonna puke. Slow down. Like he just wasn't really into the anime. He really liked the Sun and Moon arc. Yeah, that's why I tell you slow down. The water's not going anywhere, buddy. Pokopia. I do not have a Switch 2, so I have not been able to play Pokopia, but I do want to play it. I would say if you want to watch them from the beginning, generations 1, 2, and 3 are very cohesive with each other. Gen 4 is kind of where they started doing like a reboot. So like you could kind of jump into it without really needing to watch the prior series, but there are some more tie-ins. Gen 5, complete reboot. Like Pikachu's super weak again for some reason. Ash doesn't have any Pokemon, so it's like a soft reboot, and everything started over, like all new people. So that one you could kind of watch on its own standalone. Same thing with Gen 6, it's kind of like its own standalone thing. And then Gen 7, the Sun and Moon arc, it's also its own like standalone thing. There are like callbacks to prior generations, but they don't really flow together like they did between Gens 1 and 3. I also really like Journeys. That's the Gen 8 arc. I really did enjoy Journeys as well. That one is pretty funny. That's after Sun and Moon. But it changed up the formula. So Ash is like back in Kanto and he's staying in Kanto. He just travels all over the world. And then he ends up back in Kanto in like the same episodes. Yeah. I am I really like Pokemon. And I know a lot of people like to like watch things in like a story order, and some of the seasons just like, yeah, they're just their own thing. Is your face dry enough now? Okay, I think I need to place the eyes down first and then the nose. That was what was throwing me off. Boom. Ba-da-dum. Also, if you haven't realized, the music playing is all remixes from the Pokemon games by Glitch X City on YouTube. She does a lot of Pokemon remixes, and I love her work. She does other game music as well. But her Pokemon stuff is the stuff I love the most. Trying to be cognizant of the camera. I'm gonna have to fix his eye. Didn't want to give. I don't want Pikachu to have a big smile, but it looks weird without it. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to get into the picture. Oh, nice. Do you get some new pages added in for your art journal? Sir, why are you dying? Baxter. Hey, are you okay? Did you drink water too fast? Yeah. Get these edges cleaned up. Oh, that sounds cool. So they like gothic style black. Oh, cool. I would love to see them. I'll have to remember to check because YouTube doesn't notify me when people post in my community, and I don't know why it doesn't do that. Like I have all notifications for everything turned on, but it doesn't notify me when someone posts in my community. So I'll definitely be checking for that, so I don't miss it this time. I did not like just randomly going on and discovering I'm not going to be notified, and that you had a post that you had made like months prior, and I just completely missed it. Oh, that sounds cool. Yeah, I'd love to see those. That's looking more like Pikachu. Yeah, but months. That was a bit extreme. But I was under the impression like, oh, I'll be notified when somebody comments on there, and like I just figured I hadn't got any comments. It was fine, and then one day I was just like going through it and realized I completely missed yours. Okay, so now I need kind of like a purpley color for the inside of the mouth. If I do ever miss another one of your posts, anybody's posted, whoever's watching this, if you post in my community and I miss it, just comment on one of my videos. I read all the comments. Let me know you posted something. It won't bother me, and I'll be more than happy to go and look. Oh, nice. Are they going to be like OC's original characters? Part of a story? Or the more just like fun little characters you just like to make? I'm gonna need to fix that, but it's definitely looking like Pikachu now. A Booniverse? Oh, I love that. Oh, that's fantastic. So they're like customizable little characters, kind of like Mariah Elizabeth's blobs. Something is just a little off. I'm gonna have to fix it. We're gonna start over. The great thing about paint, you can just start over. I don't need to fuss with it. The booze. Oh, I think I figured out what it. His face is just angled weird, so he looks looks a little chubby in the face a little bit. I think I can fix that. But it is looking like Pikachu now, so. Let's see. That better? I gotta fix his little chin down here. If I go in too much closer, it starts getting really grainy. I need to actually like start using a streaming service instead of just the default one through YouTube, because it will let me stream higher quality as well as download. I have yet to figure out how to download my live streams off of YouTube so I can make like videos from them. You see the reference? Like, you could tell. Let me pull this up a little bit closer. Like you could tell, get in the frame, get in frame, get in frame. There you go. You could tell that I used this as a reference just to kind of like help with the pose. But I made it my own. And it looks like Pikachu. I'm really happy with that. Sitting underneath the tree now. But I am going to have to do a light wash some of these shadowy areas. I'm going to need to darken a little bit. And I was talking with Illustrated, and she made a really good point of using like a color instead of gray. So I think I'm going to like do a light wash in some areas with the blue. All right, but now that Pikachu is in, I got to move this up into the sky because I could start blocking out Jirachi. I'm not going to be able to finish it today, but I can start blocking it out. And I want Jirachi about right here. Because, yeah. There we go. See. Oh, the sky, the nebula looking sky. All right, so I guess I'll just use my white, and I'll kind of seeing Jirachi right here. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get those added in. I'm gonna get Jirachi at least mapped out really quick. Let's see. Jirachi is a bean. This is the shiny Jirachi. It's not the one I'm gonna be using, like color-wise. So the red parts are actually gonna be like a teal blue color, but I like the pose. I could kind of like rearrange it a little bit better in my mind. So that's kind of the pose I'm going for with Jirachi, but more like angled, kind of him flying. Gotta get this little bean body added. I want his leg up a little bit more, so we're gonna just go right in. There we go. Jirachi is a mythical Pokemon, meaning that it's super powerful. And it sleeps for 1,000 years. And it will wake up once. And it will grant the wish of anybody who's there while it's awake before it goes back asleep. So it's based off of a shooting star. Right in the eye of the lion. I'm not following with that one. Oh yeah, you're right. Yep, like right in the eye of the lion. Okay, I was off in my own little world. Now I feel bad. I painted right in this lion's eye. You're right. I use Winsor and Newton Galleria acrylics. I do have them listed. You don't have to get them through that though if you can find them cheaper. They are a little pricey, but I find that they've held on to pigment really well. Paintings I've made 6, 7 years ago are still completely vibrant, even though they've been like in a room where sun hits them. So I really like these. They hold their pigment well. They're light fast. And they're heavy body acrylics. So like that's the other reason why I like them. I feel like it's more versatile. I can add water to them to thin them out if I want to make closer to like tempera paints. They are a little pricey. Like my tubes are anywhere between $6 and $9 each. But I did start with just titanium white, Mars black, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, and cobalt blue. So these are the colors that I started with my collection because I can make pretty much any color. I would highly suggest if you're thinking about getting better quality acrylics, start with these 5 for whatever brand and practice mixing so you can mix your colors. And then as time progresses, start incorporating other tubes so you can get more of the variety of colors. Because it's going to be it's going to be an investment and it's going to be a little expensive. I just think like if you start out with those 5, practice blending colors together and creating the colors you want, it will help you like still be able to make high quality paintings, and it will like you don't have to spend like I don't know $200 on paint at one go. Although I do think it's actually they're cheaper in the UK because they're from Germany. So I do think like you guys actually have a better price for the Winsor and Newton. Oh, and just a heads up, like about 10 more minutes or so before I will finish my live stream because then I gotta get dinner started. Let's see. How's it going, Gray Cloud? I appreciate the hello. I do have Pikachu added. Such a cute little guy now sitting underneath the tree, and I'm getting my next Pokemon added in. Oh, Windsor and Newton? Yeah. But I mean, like, there was a lot of like exchanging of ideas in Europe over the years. All your countries are really close together. Like, I mean, Canada and Mexico are our closest neighbors, but I'm like smack dab in the middle, and it will take me like I think 18 or 20 hours to drive north into Canada, or like 18 or 20 hours to drive south into Mexico. And I feel like that trip for you into like another European country would be a lot less time than that. Yeah, Pikachu. This is the guy I'm currently painting. Oh, hold on one second. Nope, I can't have you go into the garage. Oh, I left the doors open and to the to get into the backyard you have to go through our garage, and I left the door open and Eric just got home and I need to go shut it so the dogs don't go run out. Yeah, I hope they work out for you. If you decide to get them. Okay, hold on one second. Onyx is in the backyard. And I will say, before I started using Winsor and Newton pretty regularly, I did like test out lots of different brands of paints to find the one that I like the most. Golden is another really good one, but they are just so expensive. And Winsor and Newton was like the median price between the super cheap acrylics and like Golden or Liquitex. And I really like, I just feel like I get about the same quality as Golden, but it was half the price. So I just kind of like fell in love with them since then. Onyx is in the backyard.
It's right here.
Oh, okay. Never mind then. I'm probably gonna have to fix up his arms once I start adding color to him, but he's white. Oh, look, that one's moving. How cute. You're a very round-bodied Pokemon. A cute little chubbiness about you. This is the shiny though. So that's the regular, the blue one right here. I'm not going to stay with that one. So you can see like the white is just a little bit more, got like a blue tint to it. So I'm gonna have to use a really, really light white and some grays. Because this one's got like a little pink tint to it. I am just about to stop. Yep. I'm gonna try to like map out the head a little bit better. Let's see. You got a big head. Like should come out to about right here. I'm gonna finish the head. Like just getting this part mapped out. I'm definitely gonna need to go wider though. I'm trying to like also envision it tilted just a little bit. All right, Gray Cloud, you have a wonderful night as well. Thank you so much, Illustrated. I'm just gonna get this head finished. I'll get it really cleaned up when I start adding like the actual color. Got like a Stewie Griffin head. Taking years of practice. And I guess like a very strong knowledge of the games. I've seen so many Pokemon so many times. And the games do a pretty good job of like showing you different angles. Your head's gonna be down here, or your face. And you're gonna have your little dingly bops right here. Goodness gracious, Onyx. I guarantee your Chewy is not going anywhere. Yes, he finished it. Like, ate it in one gulp. And then you're gonna have like your little flowy bits. Coming out from right there. I do have Pokemon dreams. Although like it doesn't really make sense so much when I do dream of them, because it's like they're just exist and they're a natural part. So like it's not like, oh my god, it's Pokemon. It's just like, oh, it's Pikachu. There we go. I feel like you could definitely tell it's Jirachi. Thank you, thank you. All right, since I'm going to be getting off here soon, let's get a close up. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good, like... I'm going to have to fix up a little bit of its sizing of its head. Its head needs to be a little bit bigger, but I got it pretty mapped out. I'm pretty happy with it. And then you got the little Pikachu. It's coming along. And then once I get Jirachi done, I have Cinderace. I'm going to be putting right here. And then the final subject, Kenny, he's going to go right there. Nope. It's all just hand-painted stars. each one dotted. Probably would have been easier, but like if it was glitter. I even did the sides with it. So yeah, glad I could get this started. I'm hoping to have this done in the next couple weeks. So yeah. All right, I need to get going. I got dinner to need to get taken care of, and Eric just got home. Thank you so much, Shannara. All right, you beautiful people. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Don't get lost. Don't get stolen. And yeah, you have a wonderful day. Bye, you beautiful people.